Hello, welcome. I am Gaia Yogini. My name is Capri, and I am 37 weeks pregnant and would love to show you what I've been doing for yoga at this point along the pregnancy. So I'm going to just introduce the first pose because we'll be in it for 5 minutes and I'll talk more while we're in it. If you have a blanket or something, towel, you may want to use it. You might not, so it depends on, you can try it both ways. I like a little bit of it right now, just on the edge. So we're going to come into a wide-legged position. You can also have a block for this practice, or a book, but ideally a block. Once you're in this position, flexing the feet slightly, and beginning to just lean forward while keeping your heart and your chin upright. So as I said, we'll stay here for 5 minutes. I've already started the timer. The thing I like about this practice is it's really all I can do right now. My yoga practice personally has changed a lot throughout my whole pregnancy, and at this point it's amazing the difference in my body and just experiencing it. Like, for instance, this position, I can't go much further than this, and that's totally fine, and I don't want to. But normally, I guess when I'm not pregnant or earlier in the pregnancy, this was really like a fold position where, I'd come closer to the ground. But we're looking for the opening really in the hips. So I hope you're joining me in this practice, and I hope that you enjoy it. So begin breathing deeply into your belly. On your exhales, focusing on sending the energy downward and loosening this area. Sometimes it takes a whole 5 minutes to really open this up. This class is for a healthy, experienced yogi. It can be done for beginners, but to have a baseline understanding of the yogic postures that we'll be doing, I recommend. And as I said, as long as you're healthy, there's no contraindications, you should be good to go. If you're wondering what this is in the background of me, that is my birth tub that I'm renting for my planned home birth and planned water birth. And I say planned with emphasis because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm taking the time out to be still with ourselves and doing this practice is a great way to open into the unknown and calm your nervous system. So I recommend doing this practice as much as possible. Like I said, this has been my go-to, and once you do it once with the sound on, you can do it again and just mute my voice and just know I'll tell you how many minutes I do for each pose. And you don't even need my voice. We have 30 seconds left. You might notice that you're starting to open a little, and maybe that's allowing you to lean forward more. You could always have something like a block here. Should have mentioned that, but that's okay. But we don't want to be rounding, we want to be lifting. So if we are folding forward, it's happening at the hips and not in the upper body. Okay, that's 5 minutes. So moving into another pose, just bending the left leg. Ooh, I'm gonna get my timer here. We'll do this for 2 minutes, basically lifting in the center and slightly turning towards your stretched out leg, and have a little bit of aliveness in your foot. You can be kind of pulling in a little bit, not pulling, but just gently pressure on the knee here. My cats have joined. Ooh. Continue to keep your breath moving in and out. Let that be your baseline in all of the poses. The one fluid action happening. And you can move slightly too. Never feel like once you get into a pose you have to stay exactly like a mannequin, because oftentimes there's subtle adjustments that can really fall into place if we just allow ourselves to be slightly mobile within the stillness. Oh, the cat went in the birth tub and I didn't want that to happen. They're kind of angsty right now. Okay, coming into the next position, bringing the leg, the bent one, in. So this is just a mild twist. You want to lift up through the center here. We'll take 5 to 10 breaths, gently turning towards your left side. Relaxing your shoulders on the exhale. Okay. We'll switch sides. Once the baby comes, if this is your first baby or child, it's mine. I had to spray them. Sure, don't do that. Gosh. I've already started the timer here, so we have about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So we'll do the same thing on this side as we did the other side with the bent leg. You know, it might feel better to have the leg out further and not so close as I have it. So just find the place where you can feel comfortable, really. If it is your first child, you know, learning to do your yoga practice with distractions around you, such as cats that are going crazy. Of course, we don't want to neglect what's around us, but taking the time for ourselves and just not reacting constantly to our environment is good. So, I mean, I hope that everyone is able to continue their practice into having a baby and child and looking into mommy and me yoga, whatever. But you'll see, after you do a practice like this, it's just very nourishing for yourself. So okay. We'll come into the gentle twist. Bring your right foot to the inner thigh or slightly out from your thigh. Lifting your chest for the twist, 5 to 10 breaths. In and out. It's nice to come out of the twist with an exhale. And we'll move into table position. You may want the blanket under your knees if your surface isn't very soft underneath your mat or whatever you're using. So coming into tabletop position, you want your hands, wrists right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. Cat-cow, so inhaling, letting the belly drop, shoulders come back, collarbone wide, lifting the chin. Exhaling, rounding, pressing into the hands, tucking the chin, releasing the air, dropping the head. So flow through here at your own pace. Feel free to stay in one position longer than another for a few breaths or something. Couple more breaths. Now we'll move into melting heart. It's a yin yoga posture. I like to come a lot wider on the knees and depending on where your body's at, this might not happen fully for you as it is for me, but you want to be walking your chest, your heart down to the mat, butt up in the air, melt the heart to the floor. Head can come chin down, cheek down. Just make sure you switch sides if you're on one cheek, and breathe. Really think about melting on those exhales. Your hips, your shoulders, your heart, of course your back. Coming up with this, use really mostly your hands, your arms. At this point, the more you can use your arms, the better. We'll come right into downward facing dog, wide legs, and please bend your knees so that your back is straight if that's necessary. Because we really want the straight back. Not a rounded back, but a straight back. We'll stay here for 1 minute. Separating the collarbones wide. Bringing the shoulders into the socket so you have space in the shoulders and neck. And continue that long inhale and exhale. And feel your own strength here. Coming down onto your knees. I'm going to use the block for this next pose, just standing forward fold. I'm probably going to have to adjust my, don't have to. So for standing forward fold, what I like to do is have my legs really wide and slight bend of the knees, good. I like the block. This is one variation you can do. Relaxing the elbows. Arms don't have to be super tense. You may also want to just kind of squat, lean, really not putting any weight into your legs. So you're just slightly using a bend to support your elbows. Or coming down straight to the ground. Whichever variation you choose, think about letting your head really release. And when I say think about it, I mean just intend for that to happen. And sometimes just bringing our awareness to a certain area of your body will help that action. We're doing 2 minutes here, 45 seconds left. Okay, rolling up, slowly pressing in with your feet. All the way up to standing. We'll come into a squat. So, depending on if squat is something you do in life, there could be very many variations of this. What I like to do, sometimes I like to put the block right under me, so I'm supported. I'm probably going to do half and half right now. We're going to do 3 minutes. I've already began the clock. You may want to be on your tiptoes. You can also use your block under your heels, like that. Whatever you choose, once you get there, and if you can't get there, it's fine. Just do something of the like. But once we are there, we want to release downward. So on your exhales, think about your lower vertebrae just kind of expanding downward. So your sacrum is slowly stretching to the floor. Relaxing the shoulders. Opening in the pelvis. Coming out of this squat malasana position, pressing into your feet, using your hands, right up into Tadasana mountain pose. Standing in mountain pose, feet comfortable width apart. Bring your hands to your belly. Inhaling, taking energy in from the sky, the heavens. Exhaling, sending down energy through your feet, your roots, into the earth. Feel the connection of heaven and earth from the center axis of your body and your baby. Come into tree pose. You could start on your balancing on your left side. Heel comes above the ankle. It might come onto the underneath the knee calf. You may bring it up onto your inner thigh. Just please don't bring your sole of your foot to your knee. We're staying for 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. If you fall out of it, come back in. And switching sides. One side usually tends to be more stable than the other. Finding a focus point with your eye is helpful. Turning up your cheeks into a smile is also helpful. You may take a few more breaths here. And before going into Warrior 2. Warrior 2, let's bring the left foot forward, the right foot back. Pretty wide legs here. You want to align your front heel in a straight line to meet up with the arch of your back foot. So check out your feet stance because that's important. Arms will come up, shoulders relax down. Breathing, 5 to 10 breaths. Gazing over your front hand, find your focus, your drishti. Relax your belly. Staying here for reverse warrior, drawing the back arm down the leg, lifting the front arm. Just 3 to 5 breaths here. On an exhale, we'll come into extended side angle. Rounding the shoulders and the heart towards the sky. Staying soft in the upper body and strong in the lower body. Let's keep the air in the heaven part of our body and the stability in the root earth part of our body. Inhaling back to Warrior 2. Straighten this front leg. You might want to take your stance in significantly. For triangle, either use a block or you can just stay upward on your, just a slight bend here. Rotating just like an extended side angle, rotating the heart and the shoulder open. And almost leaning back if you can, just slightly. Allow space for your head to extend long so that your shoulders aren't coming up too high. Good. Pressing into the ground to lift back up to standing. And we'll switch sides. All we need to do is just a little pivot on the mat for warrior two. Coming into reverse warrior, turning the front palm up. Allow space in between your head, neck, and upper shoulder. No scrunching here, but keeping space. Exhaling into extended side angle. Inhale into warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Walk the back leg in for triangle. Lifting up. Nice. So we'll come into Gordasana, eagle pose. Balancing on your left leg to start. First time I did eagle pose, in the recent times, I went too far into it. We're going to do 2 minutes. So start small. We want to wrap your right leg over your left leg. Arms can come out, wrapping just like your legs are. Right over left. You can use your toe for support. If you notice, my toe can either be lifting or supported, so that's what I mean. Sinking your butt back. So like I said, we want to start small here, and then as time goes on, you might be able to go deeper, lower, get more burn out of it. But primarily you want to create balance and strength in your body. You don't need to push yourself too hard. Coming up. Switching sides. I'll do this from the side this time. If you think about the qualities of an eagle, the animal, it's got vision, foresight, perspective, focus, really good eyesight. Harness those qualities into yourself while in eagle pose, knowing you already have them, just bringing them to surface. This is our peak pose in this class. We will be down on the floor again soon. If you're feeling some intensity, ride that breath. That is your ally. And positive thoughts, if you can. Retrain your brain to say, I can do this, versus I can't. And coming up, we'll take a goddess pose, wide on the mat, wide legs on the mat, toes pointing outward, and bending into the center. Hands come onto the belly. 5 to 10 breaths. Lifting up, coming into a wide-legged forward fold, similar to the forward fold we did earlier. You can use a block. Do a minute of this, so just folding forward, bending the knees slightly here. And let your heart come forward. Let your elbows bend, especially if you're in a position similar to mine. You don't need to be active in the upper body. Kind of loosen up. Inhaling, coming halfway up, walking the feet in slightly so that you can safely come all the way up. However, we will be coming down to the mat. Okay, coming down to the mat. If you want the blanket, you may use it now for Dandasana. Excuse that noise. So, a little bit of lift is the purpose of the blanket. Woo! Actually, 2 blocks wouldn't hurt here to put one on each side, but basically, staff pose, we just want to be at an angle here, at like an L angle. We'll stay here for a minute. Closing the eyes. I actually didn't put the timer on, but that's okay. We don't have to be super precise. If you are doing this class on your, if you are doing this class again in the future, we're going to come back into the first pose we were in. Wide legs. Oh my gosh. If you do this class again, you just go along with the routine without the sound or whatever, pausing it. Feel free to stay in poses longer or shorter. Of course, longer might be, if you have the time, profitable. So this is the same pose we started off with. Staying for 2 minutes. Kind of leaning into the fold. If you have tunes that you could listen to along with the class, just, whatever makes you happy, subtle music, that's good. I just really encourage this, especially if you're in the end of your pregnancy. This this sequence is great. I mean, everyone's different, of course, but I can't be the only one that really enjoys this sequence. But all the action, this is a lot of good positioning for the baby. Good opening for the mama. If you have any comments, I know I'm talking a lot right now, but I won't in these last few poses, but if you have any comments, please leave them below after the video. I'd love to hear your feedback. Okay, coming into the pose we did, the little twist. However, we will stay in it longer, so let's bring the left leg into the right. Two minutes here in the twist. Close your eyes. Relax your shoulders, lift your heart. Inhaling and exhaling out of the twist. Coming back, leaning back just to switch sides. Twisting gently, of course, in the other direction. And remember, the foot that is extended out, we want to have a little flex there, so don't be totally limp in it. There's an engagement happening here, and that keeps everything safe, keeps you active and in your body, keeps the energy flowing, opening up meridians, energy pathways. Allow yourself to really sink in. Inhaling and exhaling to come out of the twist. My favorite, Parsva Konasana, Baddha-Konasana, Bringing the soles of the feet together. Having that little lift on the blanket might be good. This is another one, similar to having the legs wide, where we want to be lifting the heart, we want the back straight. And any bend that happens is happening at the hips. That just naturally occurs. You can kind of open up your feet so that the edges of the outer edges touch and the inner edges expand. Shoulders come down and back. Just let gravity do its work here. And similar in birth, from what I have learned, is that just being the receptive part of nature in the birth process is what's going to help the most. So letting go into the tension, and letting gravity do the work, letting your breath do the work. That's all you need to do. And stay in your heart. Notice your thoughts. If they get murky or negative, you might need to step in mentally and shape your thoughts by creating a mantra. A mantra being something that you repeat in your head. Something, I am capable, I am powerful, whatever resonates for you and is appropriate. I'm actually feeling my baby's engagement happening, and 50% effaced, and I feel like something's happening. Doesn't hurt, so I don't want to come out of this quite yet. Something progressive and productive. Also, I am, like I said, this is my favorite pose. Staying in this pose for 10 minutes is going to be beneficial. I mean, working your way up to staying in it for 10 minutes. If you're coming to this pose, tucking your chin is really great way to be inside yourself and also keep your spine long. Just for another 20 seconds or so. The next pose that is bringing the legs out forward, and really, if you have the belly, you're going to need to put them wide and just leaning forward. So it's classic Paschimottanasana. Working on that Sanskrit. Seated forward fold. So if you've been in this position, stay for another minute or so. But really, you can stay in this one as well for 3 minutes or more. Okay, let's come out of that. I want you to be very careful in this next pose. It's going to be a little bit of a back bend. Coming onto the mat, supporting yourself with your hands. So, I'll show you a variation of it before I get into the full version of it. Variation could just be like lifting in the heart, shoulders, make sure you're keeping them away from your chin. And taking the full pose, coming onto the elbows, lifting in the heart, in the belly, letting the head drop. One minute here. Keep lifting though in the heart. Pointing the toes if that's comfortable. To come up, please be careful, lifting your head, using your hands to bring you all the way up. Our last posture in the practice will be seated meditation, having that little lift underneath the butt. Great. Very important to stick with this, even though you might feel that you don't want to. So no big deal, just coming into seated position. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes, bring your hands to your belly. Breathing in and out. Notice any sensations that you might be feeling, any new vibrations or buzzing from the practice. Feel any movement from your baby. Just be with yourself, be with your environment. This is a good time to connect with your baby. Speaking out loud or telepathically, lovingly. If you'd like to relax your hands at some point down, away from your belly, that's fine. You're not going to be hurting anyone's feelings. So you may choose to continue communing with your baby or continuing a mantra. You may also just let your mind just sort of float away, let it wander. Just don't follow it. You may notice it wander, but don't follow it. Try to stay with your body and your baby and your breath. Bring your awareness back to your breath, breathing in deeply. Exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. One more big breath. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands to each other in front of the heart. We'll seal our practice by bowing in honor of ourself, in honor of our baby, our spirit, and our baby's unique individual spirit. Blessings, and I wish you safe and happy labor, delivery, and all of that. Make sure to drink plenty of fresh, live spring water if you have access to it. Just water. Just keep drinking that water. Water is life. Namaste. Thank you so much for watching that whole video and enjoying that practice with me. If you hit the thumbs up button underneath here, that would be great. That way I know that you've successfully done this class. And subscribe to my channel. I haven't posted a lot of videos during this pregnancy. Actually, this is my first one. But I will be posting more, and this channel's just begun. So, thank you so much. Bye.